I kind of want to know your opinions about that. I mean, while we do hobby stuff in here, and we do want to have some sort of influence of getting celebrities in here, I'm sure that's a kind of a very fun thing to do. But even
Yeah.
more so, how can we continue to bridge the gap between the performances that we have in here compared to the video evidence that's posted on like things like YouTube?
Right. I think external people are going to go the same pathway that VRChat like club development has gone, right? Like earlier we talked about how everybody started out building essentially like giant like amphitheaters with, I want to have a giant outdoor festival with tens of thousands of people. That's how they build the world, and you can't fill it because there's only 80. I think there needs to be a bit of a like you need to speed run someone through that realization process of like if someone does tell you, if they come to you and say, I can build a VR platform where I can fit 10,000 people or 80,000 people into a stadium and they can all see, no, they can't. What they can do is they can put you down on a view where a bunch of things spawn around you that are completely static that represent 79,999 other people, and then you get your spot. VRChat's different. Everybody is treated as like a fully expressive individual. So that's the focus, right? Music is important here. Obviously, it's what we're talking about. But the focus here is the capability of someone to be fully present in the environment and also be there with them. And the technology just, isn't quite there. And if people keep making their avatars shittier every time a new 50, 60, 70, 90 comes out, we're probably never going to get there. But that is kind of the problem, right? Like when you say, "Oh, I run a event in VR," the first thought that's going to come to a business person is like, "Okay, well, there's infinite square footage. There's no fire code for me to worry about. I can squeeze in as many people as I want to," which is a valid take. And then when you tell them, "Oh, you can only fit 80," now the fire marshals run in and said, "Okay, well, you can only have 80 people in this as a room as big as you want it to be." So I get the hesitation, but there's also like we figured out ways around it, right? There's ways to mitigate that problem either by broadcasting, like many venues do. Shelter notably uses overflows to great effect, and there's other tech out there that could help with it. But I think that's one of the big things.
I think that the reasons why people haven't done it is because there's this incongruity between like no one in the everyone that's in the club scene on this side that has the technical aptitude to do this kind of thing um, are all almost opposed to the very concept of it, and the people that
Yeah.
are outside of it who would be open to it don't have the technical aptitude and don't really understand like that side of it. And so I think that there's this gulf in the middle of like that would take someone that is able to cross and understand and make it work in a way that's viable, that would be solving some other problem. So for like,
Mm.
in my opinion, what would probably have to happen is the closest I think we've come is someone like Muzz. But I think you would need
Mm.
someone that was maybe a little bit more driven than that. And a little bit more probably I don't know. I think about folks that are producers that are also really internet savvy, and how actually so, like, Eliminate, for example, if you're familiar with him, his he's a successful producer, but very much because of his music, that's where he started, but he's also done a really good job of building a social following based on his streams. Someone like him, I feel like, yeah, that makes sense to translate if he's like, "I wanna bring people into I wanna have, events that everybody can attend, like this big audience that I have that they can come into, but, like, I don't wanna charge, like, an insane amount of money for it, um, and I'm not trying to do it to get rich. I'm just like, I wanna provide an experience for my fans, and also much like my streaming career, this can help grow my audience," right? And, like, I also will take part in this community, and I think something like that would work. But I think the amount of people that, like, that Venn diagram, like, works for is not super huge.